Discrimination means being treated unfairly or less favorably than other people because of a personal characteristic, such as race, age, sex, or because you have a disability. Generally, people discriminate against individual or group from fear, ignorance, preconceived ideas based on stereotypes. For example, teenage boys today are hooligans with no respect and can't be trusted, or old people are stubborn and crotchety. In a similar way, people can fall victim to harassment. Harassment is unwelcome comment or conduct that causes offense, humiliation, or intimidation. Quite often, harassment can be systematic and repetitive and have significantly negative psychological, social, and in extreme cases, physical impact on the individual group it is directed at. Age discrimination is the prejudicial treatment or denial of human rights simply because of a person's age. All ages can be discriminated against. There is a great disparity in how we as a society view the concept of aging and the benefits that can only truly be acquired and developed with the passing time. Aged beef, matured wines, and cheeses are all great prized and awarded in higher status and value based on their enriched characteristics and depth that wouldn't otherwise be possible without having undergone the timely maturing process. And yet, every day we can find examples where the more mature members of our society, particularly those in the age of 65, are subject to rejection, harassment, discrimination, being treated as inferior because of their age. All the years of knowledge, the skill and talent that has been cultivated throughout their life experience ignored by a number. It begs the question, how do we determine a person's worth? Is it down to how the numbers stack up? How can we tolerate our most senior citizens being disregarded and discarded? Let's face it, growing old is a process that all of us will experience, if we are lucky, except for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris doesn't age, he levels up. One of the most significant social trends of our time that is prevalent in most Western countries, including Australia, is that of our aging population. This shift in the national demographic raises a range of challenges that need to be met within various aspects of our society. Aging is viewed as a problem or a burden on the basis of economic pressures. Example, increased costs for healthcare and declining numbers in the workforce. Cultivating negative attitudes towards the older generations can only fan the flames of ageism to a point where we find ourselves unable to recognize the opportunities and beneficial contributions our senior citizens offer to society. Currently, the majority of Australians leave the workforce and move into retirement from the age of 65 and over. If we add this to the decline in birth rate, we see a gap in the areas of labour productivity that is not being replenished by a proportional new generations of workers. This means there is a smaller workforce from which funding and resources can be taken to support the system and facilities needed to maintain the less productive but still consumptive elderly in population. Who would have thought that the wonderful advancements in medical science and improved living standards, the fact we're living longer, healthier lives, would not be considered a great achievement in our evolution but rather a major social and economic problem. On a more personal level, people confronted by age discrimination are affected psychologically, socially, financially, and physically. Psychologically, people can experience denial, trying to hide their age through measures like fashion or in extreme cases plastic surgery. Acceptance, submitting to the stereotypes and allowing them to be swallowed up in the myth and fading away from society. Or avoidance, looking to escape and avoid stereotypes sometimes through drugs or alcohol, often leading to mental illness, depression, or even suicide. Financially, age discrimination can see people after years of hard work who have accumulated knowledge, skills, and experience pushed out from their roles or forced to retire when they're at the height of their careers and still have much to offer. Even more difficult than holding onto a job is the overwhelming gauntlet older candidates must face when trying to find a job or re-enter the workforce as a considerable length of time. The significant reduction in income often experienced by retirees means that they have less purchasing power and freedom of choice, which in turn can affect their accessibility and goods of service. It's easy to see how a natural process of life over which we have no control like aging can be a source of frustration. Such frustration and desperation in fact that a person feels forced to take extreme lengths to re-establish themselves as a worthwhile member of society, just like 61-year-old Annie Margulis, who decided to sell herself by using a billboard near Sydney Airport to advertise her skills in an effort to find work. After being made redundant from her previous job, Anna applied over 500 administration and office positions. Since deciding to return to the workforce, despite her extensive experience and skills, Annie was rejected for every job. Annie expressed how hard it was to stay positive in the face of constant rejection, and even indifference, with some employers neglecting to even bother responding to her applications. For Annie, finding a position would help give her self-esteem and personal satisfaction, and more practicality helped to pay her bills. While Annie had planned to enjoy her retirement years with her husband, the escalating cost of living in Sydney had quickly eroded their superannuation nest egg. Many of Annie's mature age friends and acquaintances have showed that they are experiencing the same difficulties, some of which have had to sell assets such as artworks just to pay for groceries. Annie explained that she was never to alter outright that she was unsuitable for a job because of her age, because it's illegal. The Age Discrimination Act in 2004 makes it unlawful to discriminate against people because of their age in employment, education, or other areas. The Act ensures that everyone has the same rights to equality before law, regardless of age. It promotes recognition and acceptance of this ideal within the community. The Age Discrimination Act 2004 is a response to the changing demographic, removing roadblocks that prevent older people from participating in society. In particular, the workforce and works towards changing negative stereotypes. Annie Margulis maintains, maturity brings a lot to a job. There's not enough value for mature age workers. In order to erase age discrimination, we must change our perception that aging is a bad thing. Aging is simply a natural course of life. Remember, the old were once young, and one day the young will become the old. The privileges and potential available to today's youth have been built upon the labour and struggles of previous investigations. We need to recognise the contribution of senior members to our society and create an environment in which these people and their efforts are not discarded or overlooked. We need to establish policies and support systems that will give seniors freedom, choice and security. For a specific group of aging and the ill, frail and all those with disability, focus on the healthcare and age support facilities are needed. We need to empower our senior citizens so that we can benefit their life experience, skills, knowledge, and to help them take care of their rightful place as valued members of society.